Hello, welcome to Worthy Wednesday. I'm your host, Karee, and I am happy to see you. Y'all, it has been 105 or 6 or 7 every day this week. I mean, starting last week, it was this hot. And I am befuddled that it's still so warm. But then I said, what am I even saying? It's only July. We have at least 2 more months of this before we at least get to 98 and 99 every day, or not. Last year in October, we hit 100, for 3 weeks, so it was fine. But anyway, welcome to Worthy Wednesday, and I cannot walk to exercise until like 7:30, 8 o'clock every day because it's so flipping hot outside. But anyway, it doesn't matter because I'd rather be hot than cold anytime. And I have thought about this quite a bit, and I'm just like, I always tell you guys how hot it is, and then I always laugh because I have zero intention of living somewhere else where it's cold. Anyway, so welcome to Worthy Wednesday, and I hope you're having a great day. I'm a little tired this week. Someone that is really close to me was had a medical, I don't want to say it was an emergency, but a medical thing that happened, and going back and forth to the hospital, and just being present with people and praying for them. And so I'm thankful to report that she is on the mend, so I'm grateful to God for that, and everything is working out. But it doesn't change the fact that you were tired because you were in that moment with them, and you feel all of those emotions that are tied to it. But tonight specifically, I was actually going to talk about something else, but I saw this video today that tickled me to no end. Back in the day, kids used to do ding dong ditch. Do y'all know what that is? Like you run up to somebody's door, you ring the doorbell, and then you run away before they answer. But now in this state of the economy, everybody has Ring on their front door. They have some type of security camera on their front door. So in this particular video, this little boy runs up to the door, he rings the doorbell, and he got ready to run, and then he was like, oh no, because the little Ring camera came on, and the homeowner said, hi, can I help you? And he became very apologetic, which I thought was absolutely precious. And he was like, I'm so sorry. I was doing ding dong ditch, and I didn't know that anybody was home, and I'm so sorry. And the neighbor says, does your dad know you're doing this? And he said, yes. And then I really started laughing because I'm like, how does your dad know you're doing this? Which subsequently was the next question she asked him. And he said, well, my dad is with me. And she said, your dad is with you? And he said, yes. And she said, are you being serious? And then all of a sudden you hear the dad say, what's the holdup? And then he goes to the edge of the porch, and he turns around and he says, I got caught. And then you hear the dad say, well, run, you idiot. And I literally busted out laughing. And then you see the dad run across from wherever he was hiding across that path, so the camera picked him up. And then the little boy was like, okay, bye. And then he took off running, but he ran in the opposite direction, which caused me to laugh even more. And then you heard his dad say, over here. And then you see the little boy running in the opposite direction. Y'all, I was so tickled by that, but I think I was more tickled that the dad was actually participating in Ding Dong Ditch. And the little boy said that my dad said this is a core memory, and he wanted to do it with me. Y'all, that sent me to many, many places, but specifically, it made me think about when we experience miracles in our life, that too becomes a core memory. And it made me realize that what we have to do whenever we are privileged to experience a miracle, whether that's waking up, whether that's being in our sound mind, whether that's having the activities of all of our limbs, whether that's being able to be present with someone when they are grieving or having a situation that is beyond your control and their control, whether that's making it home safely from work, whether that's being in a place that was maybe experienced a tragedy and you were not there, you have to create a memory for that miracle. And just like the dad's intention was all well and good, the execution was poor. I'm gonna just keep that 100. The execution was poor, but the little boy said something that really caused me to think about how many core memories do I have in my mind about miracles. I can tell you several memories I have about growing up, becoming a mom, being a wife, all of these things, but I had to really sit down and think about what core miracles exist exist in my heart regarding the memory of things when I experienced a miracle. And although I am not pleased to report this, I found it quite disturbing that I didn't really make memories of certain miracles. It's almost as if I expected them, or it's almost if I was waiting for them, or it's almost if I was not grateful or thankful for them. And so I realized, you guys, that when you make a memory, a core memory about a specific miracle, you are asking your mind and your long-term memory, it starts in your short-term and transfers to your long-term, to remember all of the people involved, all the things they said, all the things they were wearing, the situation you were in, the location that you were in, the time that it happened, the season that it happened. And having a memory about a specific miracle makes that miracle alive. I think what we've learned here recently over the past several months that we've been thinking about and experiencing and looking for everyday miracles is how easy it is to forget them. It's like we take a hit of something and we just can't wait till we get to the next hit. We take a hit of something else and we can't wait until we get to the next hit. But have we taken a few moments to fund and think and have a core memory? And I'm going to tell you right now, it's no. Y'all, it's no. Okay? I have a core memory about Gianna being born, 100%. I can tell you everything about that time, everything about that day, what my mom had on, what my sister had on, what I had on, what my dad had on. I can tell you what time of the day it was. I can tell you when I started having contractions that day. I can tell you what time we left to go to the hospital. I can tell you everything that happened because that memory is a miracle where I was gifted my greatest gift on this side of heaven, my baby, right? I mean, I guess she's not a baby, but she's my baby. Y'all know what I'm saying, right? And friends that I know that have become grandmothers and grandfathers, they think and they talk about the beauty of experiencing seeing your baby give birth to a baby, or your son and his wife or his partner giving birth to a baby, and that baby is a grandbaby. And I just thought to myself, I said, why is it that we pick and choose the memories we want to make of miracles? And then I thought, Kari, hello, the answer to that question is some miracles require growth. Some miracles require maturity. Some miracles require us laying down things that have hindered us in our lives, in our development of going from one stage to the next. And we don't want to create memories for that, because I don't want to remember that I had to stop gossiping. I don't want to remember that I couldn't be a mean girl anymore. I don't want to remember that I had to understand that part of a relationship is not just what I want, but it is also involving the relationship that I build with someone else. It's giver, receiver, not just receiver or not just giver. I realized that we don't want to make memories of miracles because I don't want to be accountable. I don't want to be accountable for the miracles that changed my life in a way that has positioned me to receive more miracles. Isn't that crazy? Y'all, it's the miracles that cause us to grow, that put us forward in our life. But we don't even want to remember that stuff, because I get mad. And I'm not even going to talk about you, because maybe, sorry you guys, maybe you don't do this, but I can just tell you I do. Because sometimes when things have occurred in my life and it was a miracle, I get upset because I'm like, why did I have to learn a lesson in there? Why couldn't I just be grateful and thankful for that? And then the question I asked myself after that is, why wasn't I grateful or thankful for the lesson I learned in the miracle? Because I still experienced God's divine intervention in order to make something occur in my life that is going to benefit me for a very long time. But y'all, I have spent more time, this is what's crazy about growing up. I have spent more time analyzing the memories that made me grow than the memories that I enjoyed. And it's almost as if we in our minds have drawn a fine line between the memories of miracles that we loved and we couldn't wait to tell everybody we experienced, versus the miracles that caused us to do the work. I wonder why, honestly. Like, this is really just a question for me. It's not really a question for everyone, but worthy women, why is that? Why is it we are quick to tell somebody else, you know, you really need to change. You really need to make different choices. You need to look at your word choice. You need to look at your behavior. You need to look at your level of maturity. You need to look at what you're asking other people to do versus what you're doing. But we have yet to take those same questions and look at us. Anyway, I was so tickled by that video today. Like, I laughed for like 15 minutes on that, and it really wasn't that funny. It was just the concept that he thought creating a core memory would be to do something, first of all, that's not appropriate, right? Ding dong ditch. It's not appropriate, y'all. It's funny, but it's not appropriate. And especially in today's climate, Lord have mercy, people are crazy, and you don't want your children running up to anybody's door. God help us. I digress from that. But I just really thought to myself how important it is to recognize that a miracle doesn't have to create some type of experience in my life so I can say to others it was a miracle. A miracle can be created when I recognize that I have a memory of something that changed me, something that grew me up, something that told me, Karee, life isn't always going to be like this. So you need to get that crap together. And as I was watching the video, and the little boy was so apologetic for ding dong ditching on the neighbor's door, it made me realize that in that memory, that little boy, although he was doing something to have a core memory with his dad, he also created a core memory with the neighbor. He was like, I didn't realize that you would be able to see me doing this, and I'm really, really sorry. And I thought that is a memory that he will be able to take forward with him, knowing sometimes when someone tries to tell me to do something, that doesn't mean I need to participate in that, right? And in that lesson, that too is a miracle. Y'all, I think I finally understood what it's like today when I watched the Ding Dong Ditch video. For those of us who are constantly looking for others to form those memories about the miracles we experience. And what I mean by that is you can't tell me how to remember something that changed me. Only I can remember something that changed me. And I feel like what's critical in the acknowledgement of a core memory for a miracle is to recognize where you were when you received it and where you were after it occurred. So even though that little boy turned around and said to, when his dad was like, what's taking so long? And he was like, I got caught. And he was like, well, run, you idiot. The miracle in that moment was that the neighbor was like, I am dumbfounded that you are doing this, but I'm even more flabbergasted that your dad is having you do it with him. And so those are two lessons, not just for the little boy, but for the neighbor. Like, she totally could have overreacted. She totally could have started yelling. She totally could have made him feel worse. But it's like, even that becomes a memory of a miracle. Like, how am I treating people if they do something that I wouldn't do? Am I disowning them? Am I discrediting them? Am I gossiping about them? Am I creating an environment for them that is unproductive? Because I too am responsible, and I too will be in the core memory of someone when they experience a miracle. And I want to be remembered in that moment as someone who was celebrating, someone who was clapping, someone who was cheering, and someone who was saying, let this become a memory for this miracle. I never would have thought, to be honest, worthy women, that something as simple as Ding Dong Ditch would have such a profound effect on what I think about miracles and how I have responded to them. See, because there are two things that happen when a miracle occurs. First of all, we react to it. We react, whether that's with emotions or we react with movement, we react with stagnation, whatever it is, I'm reacting to the miracle first. But what I have learned, and I hope what you were learning while we were studying everyday miracles, is the most important response to the most important item, or the most important response to a miracle, all puns intended, is how you respond. How am I really responding to a miracle that has occurred in my life? Have I grown up? Have I changed? Have I moved forward? Have I become available to be a miracle for somebody else? Have I said thankful? Have I said thank you during that miracle? Have I supported those who were in the place where they are looking and seeking for the miracle to come? Have I been a support to them to tell them about my memory that a miracle will come exactly when the time has been appointed? Y'all, ding dong ditch, huh? I would have never guessed, never in my wildest dreams that I would think about how important it is to create a memory of a miracle. Because what's going to occur, honestly, is that when I need to remember a memory, I'm not going to remember my reaction, but I will remember my response. I hope y'all have a good week. And I hope it's cooler where you are than where it is where I am. But I'll see you again.